Tom's dilemma is what most people in their 30s face. Do you know the average 30-year-old male has 15k in their pension at 30? 12 for a woman, so you're not alone.
To kick off the year, we asked for your biggest money questions. Friend of the podcast and financial advisor Lisa Conway-Hughes has come back in again to answer them.
The next question comes from Sean. She's 50. When should I de-risk by adding bonds to my allocation?
This is the tax trick I was mentioning earlier. So you get free money for nothing.
Ryan wrote in this question. Do you use any methods to help you stop worrying about money?
Be decisive with your money. Don't just put it off because it's a hard decision.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
First episode of the year. This is the official Lisa slot, I reckon. Is this your third? Is
Fourth.
This your fourth episode, but is this your third New Year?
I don't know when the
Surely
first one
not.
went out, but definitely third New Year.
Yeah, that's
The year started right.
We're not 4 years old.
No, we've got to be 3 and a bit.
No, but you always come on in the new year.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like an annual tradition. You own this slot basically.
Thanks. Happy to fill it.
Yeah. How's the year been?
Only a few days long.
Well, 2025, how did that go?
Yeah, it was a good year. I think we helped lots of people. The company grew. We recruited 4 people last year. So it was a good year for the business and I had lots of holidays. So that was a good year for me.
Oh, nice. When did you start? the
April
business?
24.
Okay. So it was your first full kind of year.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, amazing. And it's going well.
Yes, thank you.
Anywhere cool on holiday?
I went to Mexico.
Nice.
That was heaven. To be repeated. It was
Yeah.
good fun.
Like a kind of all-inclusive resort or
No,
more
travelling round.
Oh, that's the way.
5 destinations.
Wow.
Nice. Good food.
Yes, too much to eat.
I think I was saying this to my partner the other day that I was like, I think it's taken me 37 years to realise that Mexican food is probably my favourite food. Mexican and kind of Thai. That's
It was
zesty
lovely
flavours.
because you could have by the sea you'd have your seafood and then inland you'd have all the meats. So it was really nice.
Yeah, and I think the thing about Mexican food is like their quick stuff is still healthy and good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas if you're eating quick in most of Europe, it's trash.
Right.
Whereas they're like fresh, salady, zingy stuff. Anyway, we're not here to talk about that.
Yeah, I'm getting hungry now.
We've got lots of questions from the audience today to pose to you for this time of year. And we're going to go through them and then we can just have a bit of a backwards and forwards if that's okay.
Yeah.
A little bit different to the
Hit me
ones the
with
last
it.
couple of years. Yeah. I hope you've seen these beforehand because...
Yes, I'm prepped. Don't
Okay, I
worry.
was just going to say pressure on.
First question is from Tom.
Some of these are quite long, by the way, people. We're going to read them out so we've got the context. So I do
We've got the
apologise.
best reader starting us off here, so let's get it. Tom is 31 years old and lives in London. He recently got a salary bump, taking him to 40k, just over the UK average for full-time employees. Tom says, in the last few years, I've cleared a huge amount of debt and started paying into my pension for the first time. But despite the pay rise, I feel like it's impossible to save for everything that I need to do. Do I prioritize an emergency fund and buying a house, or do I prioritize increasing my pension contributions? Which feels like building for a future, but ignoring my needs right now.
I think Tom's dilemma is what most people in their 30s face, really. And I think it can be quite a stressful time. I just feel like you're always a bit behind. Well, at least I did in my 30s.
I do.
So I think the first is he should still be paying into his pension and getting the most he can from the employer. But I think once he's committed to that, I wouldn't necessarily worry about doing any more. I'd want him to make sure he was in a really good fund and taking the most amount of risk he was comfortable with. So whilst he's not contributing loads to the pot, potentially only 8% between him and the employer, that it was growing as much as he could. So I think that would be the sort of box ticked, and review that every 6 to 12 months just to check the fund isn't performing badly. And then I would build up then an emergency fund next as my next priority. So 3 to 6 months worth of cash. So as his sanity safety net. So whatever he's spending, say it's £2,000 a month, he's going to need between 12 and 24,000 as a cash buffer, which is a lot. But
Cash buffer like emergency fund or
yes, exactly. So it needs to be instant access. He's earning 40,000, which means he's got his personal savings allowance, sorry. So he can make £1,000 a year in interest before he pays any tax. After that, he's going to want to focus on things like premium bonds that are tax-free, or using his cash ISA allowance, which under the new rules is going to drop down to 12,000 after last year's budget from next year. And then I would be going hard on this property deposit, which is no mean feat, and contributing as much as he can into saving. And I think the big mistake a lot of people make is they either assume that their parents or family will help, and then it doesn't end up happening, or they get so stressed and actually family help was there. So I think having that conversation early, like, is there going to be any help? Either way is fine, but it's just so that he can really plan and actually know what he's got to save. And so then he can work out his time horizon. Is he going to get his deposit in the next 3 to 5 years? If so, it's going to be cash-like things that he needs to save that deposit in. If his time horizon is more like 5 to 10 years, then maybe he's going to invest some of that money to try and keep up with house price inflation. So those would be the things that are going through my mind.
I don't know the London housing market as well as you guys. Is it realistic for people at those kind of earning levels to aspire to own a house? Because he might not even be able to borrow the amount of money needed.
Well, the way to do the maths is 40,000, if that's his earnings. The maximum he's likely to be able to borrow is 5 times that. So that's going to be £200,000 that he can borrow. So doing your research and understanding which areas of London he could buy in is going to be important, but also doing research in that don't just buy anything just because it's within your budget, because maybe that's something that's going to be difficult to sell on, for example, later on down the line, or maybe it's moving out. So starting doing that research early on. When I bought my first flat, the numbers didn't add up either. So I ended up buying with me, my husband, and my friend and her now husband, and we had a flat in a nice area between the 4 of us.
Like a 2-bed flat that you shared?
Yeah, a 2-bed flat that we shared, and we sold it. Well, we lived there for 3 years as 2 couples, and then when we both started to get married, we moved out separately. But
it's like
just
an episode of Friends.
Sounds
pretty cool. I bet it was pretty good,
we're still friends now. Well, actually, who it was with is Marie, who's now my operations director.
No way.
So we're still good friends.
Damon, let's move in together, mate.
No thanks. Not a chance.
Hey, a little foursome, mate.
I'd be dead, mate. Within a little foursome. What are you throwing
like
in?
That.
Now I'm interested. No, I just, I guess another question. I just wanted, like, the house point. If you're looking at like 200 grand deposit or whatever requirements you need for London, again, I don't know the market like I know the North. Is it a good use of your time to say, I'm going to take 10 years to save up for a house deposit? Or could these people go, I'm just going to invest now, and then I know that later on down the line I might earn more? Or
Yeah, I think you've got to decide what's going to be an acceptable part of your plan. Is, say, £250,000 purchase price going to get you what you want, going to be in an area that's going to make you happy, easy to get to work? Or do you need to think it differently, and you're going to invest hard and squirrel away money so that when maybe you're 40, you're buying? The benefit of buying early is the term of your mortgage. So if you're buying at 30, you're going to retire at 60 or 65, let's say, you can have a mortgage that's 30, 35 years long. And so you're going to be able to make that monthly repayment more manageable. If you don't buy till you're 40, that mortgage can only be 20, 25 years long to fit in with your retirement plan. So I think that's something to bear in mind. But I think most people are going to feel that that's a mountain to climb. So you're not alone.
if you're single, though,
Yes,
it's a lot harder.
extra.
So you might I might just focus on getting a partner by renting a swanky flat in a nice part of town. So I can go look at my flat.
Get a nice rich partner.
Yeah.
When should people, I mean, you kind of answered, when should people not focus on getting a house? But how important is it to have an actual house in retirement? Because I'm one of these people that I want to buy, but it's tying up a lot of capital. I don't know if I live here, Manchester, Spain, Portugal, Brazil. So I want to leave my options open, But at the same time, I do think I should get on Property Ladder. So how important is it to have a home in retirement?
Well, who knows what's in store for the UK property market in the future, firstly. But assuming it is a good investment, the benefit is you can use it to downsize when you're in retirement, so to top up your pot. A benefit is you're not paying rent in retirement if you've already got that mortgage paid off. So there can be benefits. And I think a lot of clients mentally assign the equity in their home to care home fees later down the line as well, which are extremely expensive. So it's got its benefits for retirement. But I think if you're going to commit to not buying a property and renting, and therefore making that property somebody else's problem, then you just know that you have to save harder for your retirement because you're going to need more.
Yeah. Yeah. What about owning a property somewhere else in the country that's more affordable? You know, do you see that at all? Like people buy to let basically, or?
Yeah, and the government's doing exactly what they can to make sure that that doesn't pay, that ad hoc, well, they call it have-a-go landlords, don't they? That these have-a-go landlords just doesn't pay off because of the tax that you pay along the way. So it's got to be for the right reasons rather than just, I need to buy a property, any property, and there's that box ticked. I've seen lots of people over the years do that and get into things that they just, not with their eyes open in the right area.
But to be honest, I kind of felt like that. It's almost like you're not an adult, or there's something, you're not functioning in society properly.
Yeah.
You know, if you're in your 30s and you've not bought a house, kind of feel like a virgin or something.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like, and you're like, oh God, I just need to get this out of the way. So, yeah.
That's
from our house, we're having foursomes all the time. But I mean, but then I look at it and go, I just don't know if it's good advice for someone who lives in central London on like a median salary to be like, well, I need a house before I do anything, and how long that's going to take.
That's how I'm feeling. Even on a slightly higher salary, like it's a big commitment and it's so much.
And the market moves away from you as well, potentially. Yeah. But so it takes you 5 years, you get there and you're like, oh, it's doubled in price.
Yeah.
I mean, London at the time of recording seems to be a bit more stagnant, or one area that is declining potentially. Yeah. So maybe it is a good time to try and go for it, but... Yeah, I guess it's priorities, isn't it? If you say this is the most important thing to me.
And if you research it properly, like what is life like with the property? What's life like without the property? And don't just make those numbers up. Speak to an independent mortgage broker. They can run those numbers for you to help you see clearly which way to go. And
buying with a mate's a good shout if you don't have that partner. Yeah. And if you've got 4 of you, even better, right?
Yeah.
What a weird market London is. And in the Northwest, you're not. I mean, you are now in Manchester. Manchester's got like that. But if you're living in Wigan or Bolton or these kind of areas, which would be the equivalent of commutable into Manchester very easily, I think, 150 grand for a 3-bed.
I mean, I've got a lot of friends who are landlords like you, like lots of friends, and they're like, it's not just buying the property and knowing what to do. It's like actually maintenance, like the boiler's broken, you need money for that. It's like all these like fees and taxes. So I think like being in London on a median salary or even on a fairly good salary, it is a big investment. So that's a thing that's really been putting me off. And I'm like, maybe I should buy up north. Maybe I should wait. Yeah. I'll just contribute to my pension for now and figure it out a little bit later.
I don't think one property that you buy, say today, up north is going to produce the level of income that you would need to subsidise your rent down here.
Yeah.
If you bought a good deal after all costs of management, you might get £400 a month and then you've got to pay tax on that, and they're going to rinse you on the tax because it's going to be in your personal name, probably not a limited company, or you've got it in a limited company and you're paying loads in fees for accountancy and stuff. So this idea that, I'll buy up north and that'll pay my rent down south, is not the case.
No, mine would be to buy and live up north.
Maybe in like 15 years when you bought today, it's like the stock market. It's like, I've got 30, 40 grand to buy the stock market and I want to retire off that. It's not going to happen. Yeah. You know, maybe it'll happen in 30 years. So I think you need like a measured kind of understanding of what you get. Plus property is, you're responsible for someone's home. So you can't just go, I'm not looking at the stock market for 2 years. You know, you've got to be on that.
Yeah, we had all our windows replaced and I don't know how much it cost the landlord, not my problem. But it was a big job.
Yeah.
So,
and the landlord's probably lost a year's worth of like rent on that.
Yeah,
you know?
like 5 windows, took everything out. So yeah, it's things that extra stress I don't need right now.
Yeah, well, and that's important. Properties are stressful. The process is stressful. It takes 6 months to exchange on the thing, and you've got all these solicitors and all these people just chipping away at you the whole time.
And illiquid. You can't just sell a portion of the property if you need a bit of cash.
No, you cannot. Tom mentioned salary sacrifice in there, didn't he? And I just wanted the rules. There was an announcement of rule changes. So, what's your read on that?
Well, the most important thing is a lot of people contact me on Instagram freaking out about this salary sacrifice. I think people think that all tax relief on pensions is gone, and that's just not true. So the first thing is how it works is, let's say I pay into the pension and I get my tax back. But to get that money in my hand, I've paid tax and NI. So I get the tax back, but I don't get the NI. Through salary sacrifice, the money goes into your pension before you pay tax and NI. So you save both those savings. And also the employer's saving 15% employer's NI as well. So sort of everyone's winning from pension salary sacrifice. So from 2029, so we've still got a lot of time. All that's going to happen is you can only put £2,000 a year in via salary sacrifice. The rest's going to have to go in the normal way. So you just don't make that NI saving. And when I did some maths last week, if you're paying in 5%, the employer's paying in 3%, it works out that if you earn up to 25,000, you're not affected. If you earn over 25,000, then the rules do impact you from 2029.
I didn't check the numbers, but one of my subscribers messaged me and said, I crunched the numbers and I pay 60 grand in a year via salary sacrifice. And I think it'll cost me £1,000. He's like, so it's not massive. It's just the NI, isn't it? Which is
yes, it's just the NI. So if you're a high earner, that's 2%.
Yeah. Yeah. So like I said, I didn't check his numbers, but I don't think it's not like you're losing 40% relief or whatever. So the answer to him would be, well, just look at whatever other scheme they operate. If it's not
and it's going to be 2029. A lot can change.
It's January, mate. Do you want to know an interesting little factoid about this month?
Go for it.
So not only is it the most depressing month of the year, but this is where legal inquiries and divorce filings spike.
Happy days.
Get Christmas out of the way, get him gone. That's what, make sure to see what he bought you for Christmas before you sack him off.
Sort out your finances January the 1st. See ya.
Yeah. Speaking about sorting out finances, it's also tax filing deadlines this month.
Yay. If you're one of the 12 million people like me who needs to file a self-assessment by January 31st and you haven't got yours sorted yet, then check out TaxZap. They make it really quick and easy. That's their whole point. You just enter your info, connect some accounts, and can file it in as little as 15 minutes.
The beauty of TaxZap is you can do it almost as quickly as you need. You don't need to have lengthy back and forths with an accountant. Plus, it's much simpler than trying to navigate HMRC on your own. So if you've left it to the last minute, these guys can help you out. If you want to file your tax return the easy way, then we've left a link to TaxZap in the description. Prices start from £49, and if you use the code MONEY10, you can get a further 10% off your first tax filing. That code is MONEY10. There's also a QR code on screen for you. Question 2, go on, read it out. You're so good at it.
I am, thank you. The next question comes from Sean. She's 50 and has 100% of her pension in equities. She asks, when should I de-risk by adding bonds to my allocation? I'm looking to retire at 65. My plan is 80%, 20% at 55, 80-20 at 55, and 60-40 at 60. Is this a sound plan to you?
Well, I think Sian sounds very sensible in that she's obviously done her research and she's building up her knowledge. I would go a step further, really, because it's about her attitude to risk and if she's got any shortfall. Does she actually, if she's achieved her goal already and she's got enough in her pot, her focus turns to lifestyle preservation. If she's got a long way to go, then she has to focus on growth until she gets there. So I'd want to understand that better. But also, I don't think, well, with clients, we often do, I've mentioned it before on this podcast, but this waterfall effect. So the money, let's say you're going to spend in your 80s, 90s, that can remain completely invested because it's got another 20, 30 years to go in Sian's example. But it's the money in the lead up. So I always want to have the 5-year plan nailed down in really easy, accessible, safe stuff so that whatever happens to the market, those first 5 years are sorted in retirement. And I would usually start that 3 years before retirement. So I would say she's on the right lines, but I think there's an extra layer where she could help improve it by allocating it into time zones as well.
So are you saving up the cash buffer within that 7-year period prior to the...
It depends what the market's doing, because if the market's really down, you're not going to want to save pull out money from the cash, but also it's a great opportunity to be putting money in still. So you've got to play it year by year depending on what the market's doing. But ideally, you're doing a bit of both. I would say diverting some money into savings element of your pension, and we just open sub wrappers in someone's pension. So if say the pension is going to start paying out in 3 years, we'll have a 3-year fixed cash bond in the client's pot. So not a government bond or a corporate bond fund or anything like that, but actual cash bond, because right now you can get over 4% on that, and it's guaranteed, and
as long as you hold it to maturity, it doesn't matter, does it?
Exactly. So right now cash can be a good replacement. If you don't need to take any risk and cash is over 4%, then maybe that is a good place to be putting it.
Do people struggle with that kind of shift of, how have I got enough, and then what I need to do to stop the accumulation train, basically?
People who are natural accumulators find it so hard to retire. It's like a personality transplant.
Yeah,
and,
that sounds like you. That's you.
And I spend most of my time with the retired people that we look after, reassuring them that it's okay. So many clients retire down to the plan, like we said, and then 5 minutes later they're back at work. So it's just a big shift. We did with a psychologist actually a whole session on how to retire well, because it is about the numbers, but most of our clients have enough anyway. It's about the psychological shift that you have to go through. And that's something that you need to be preparing yourself, not 5 minutes before retirement. You've got to get ready. You've got to build that lifestyle that you want in retirement, and the hobbies, and what
so you don't just wake up on day one and go, what do I do?
Yes.
You've already
planned it.
Yes.
Planning to run a marathon and going traveling and all these kind of things.
I'm more worried about, I would have no problem transferring from accumulation to spending. But do your clients ever run out of money in retirement? That's my biggest concern, because I'll be like, I might just have a very good month and just travel the world, and then be like, oh crap, I've done 2 years of my pension.
This is good at a job, mate. People don't run out of money.
Yeah.
That's where it's got.
I mean, I could help them. I could definitely help them.
You could help them.
I could definitely help them run out of money.
I definitely have I mean, when I tell you this story, this client will know who they are. But there's a small handful of clients who I think are nailing retiring well, a bit too much. And my job is to just show them the consequences of that. So I had a client who had an extraordinary first 5 years, got married, seemed to live in Ibiza half the year, spending amazing amounts of time on holiday and doing all those things that he wants to on his bucket list. And the consequences of that, he's well versed on it from me, that he's not going to have the lifestyle that he wants from 75 onwards. And for him, that's a completely perfect trade-off. He's perfectly prepared to live a very different lifestyle in his mid-70s, let's say.
So it's all about planning, really.
It is, and knowing the consequences. And the reverse of that is the saddest thing I see, because that's not sad. That's him really enjoying his life, and I enjoy watching him do that and receiving all the postcards along the way. But the saddest is when people actually don't take that leap and they leave it too late, because I do see clients they've worked later on in life because they've told me it's really important, for example, that they have business class flights, that they go to all these far-flung places, and they're living a certain standard on these holidays. But then when they get there, they lack the motivation to do it. The world feels a bit scarier than maybe when they planned it, and then they don't do it, and then they've got excess money. So it is about finding that balance, and it has to be a bit brave.
Yeah, I looked. I'm making a video that compares state pension generosity in the UK to other countries. So it just looks at, how good is it versus some others? Because I think a lot of the time we often just look at our own system.
Yes.
And there's a metric that I was looking at that's healthy life expectancy from point of state pension. So in the UK, on average, from the point of state pension, people get 11 years of healthy life expectancy. Then they get to a point, like you say, where they're either disabled or they just do not want to leave the house. In America, it's 8 because they work longer and they have shorter healthy life expectancies. I don't know if the average American realizes at the time they retire, it's like you got 8 years, to go live your life.
Yes.
The longest are Japan, France are really long, but because they retire so young, it's like 63, I think, is this, or 62, the state pension age there. But that's crippling their country. But yeah, it's kind of like go crazy in those first few years. Not too crazy. I mean,
Planned crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah. Because you do kind of probably think you're going to live forever, or that your view on life won't change.
Yeah.
It's mad to me that people go from, I want to see the world, to I don't want to leave the house. But actually, a lot of the old people I know that now unfortunately died in the final years were kind of, is it agoraphobic, you would call it, where you don't want to leave the home? Like you're scared of leaving the house, scared of going to the shop, you know, and you have to go around and do it for them. Yeah, I think it's solid advice. They call it a smile, don't they? The retirement smile. You spend more money at the start and then it dips, and then it all goes on care at the end.
Yes. And also, I think a bit of a sidestep, but a really important one, in the run up to last year's budget, everyone was paranoid that inheritance tax was going to change and there's going to be the big changes. So people felt like the government was forcing their hand to make these really big decisions about how much do they gift. And what I loved seeing in the run up to retirement was to the budget, a lot of clients made these decisions that they'd been putting off for far too long to actually gift to the next generation. And the money was transferred because we had this deadline, or a mental deadline of the budget, and then nothing happened. But we need to act like that at all times, like be decisive with your money. Don't just put it off the decision because it's a hard decision. You've got to plan these things. And it's so wonderful. Like it's the most emotional part of my job actually, is seeing clients' children and grandchildren receive that money, whether it's a small amount or a large amount. It's usually life-changing in the way that we plan it, because we find out what's important to that child or that grandchild.
Yeah, and like, you know, be a legend while you're alive.
Yeah.
Don't be the most popular person not at the dinner table. You want to sit there as the goat, don't you?
Bask in your glory.
Yeah. I can't wait to do that.
My grandparents did that. They were like taking we went on so many holidays, cruises with them, like big dinners, big holidays. So yeah, like that's how I want to go out. Some of my grandkids like, he's a legend. I love you, Granddad. I'm like, yeah, thank you.
Okay, we've got another one now.
Next listener's question is from Matt. Matt is 25 years old and has around 30k in pension savings. He's an engineer and expects to earn just over 60k this year. He wants to retire by 55. He asks, how do I foresee how much money I will need in retirement to live a comfortable lifestyle in the 2050s onwards? Especially as my retirement could be 30 years long and we don't know what changes would have happened by then.
Yeah. So is he Matt?
Matt.
Yeah.
Matt.
I love Matt. I wish I was that sensible at 25. So the key things that stick out for me are he's earning 60,000. So can we put him back in the basic rate tax threshold by paying 10,000 into his pension? So I really like that as an idea, to get all his tax back, especially if he's on this career trajectory where he's going to be earning a lot. He might actually get to the point where he's a very high earner, say over £250,000 a year, and he can't pay that much into pensions anymore. So if you're young and on this really steep career trajectory, paying into your pension now can really, really help.
Because you lose that opportunity later on, because they take the allowance off you when you go above a certain level of income.
So some people can only pay £10,000 a year into a pension, and for high earners, that's usually just the employer's contribution takes up all that allowance anyway. So you find yourself not paying in. So that's a great thing for him to get ahead of that. Especially if he wants to retire very young. One thing that's working against him is if he wants to retire at 55, currently you can only take a pension from 57. And that might increase in the future. Who knows? So I would be preparing for that by building up stocks and shares ISAs to fill that gap. And the way to know is to do a cash flow model. If he wants to know the exact answer that he has to, what does he have to invest every year, you just do a cash flow model. You can get those online. We can do one for you. But it's a good investment to know your number. And then, I would just be making sure he's also taking a really decent amount of level of risk in his pension that he's happy with, to try and make that pension grow as fast as possible. He's already ahead. Do you know the average 30-year-old male has 15k in their pension at 30?
1.5.
At 30 as well, which is 5 years, which is a long time at his age. You know, he's only
12 for a woman, so less for a woman. So he's already ahead of the game. He needs to give himself a pat on the back. What was the other part of his question?
So it's like how do I know how much I'll need in 2050, which I guess is kind of like a cost of living, inflation kind of question, isn't it?
Yeah, so I would do my numbers based on today and then just project forward at a sensible rate, say 3 or 4%.
Because then you're adjusting for inflation.
Exactly.
Because you've taken off, say, 3% inflation now, and you know that the number that it spits out is like protected from inflation almost.
Exactly. And he can dream big. What's brilliant is if he dreams really big and he misses his goal slightly, he retires at 56 and 55, it's not life-changing. So I would... They say to live a comfortable lifestyle as an individual, you need 43,900 or 60,600 as a couple to live comfortably. But I think he needs to work out what is his definition of comfortable, and what kind of retirement does he want to be really doing? Because 55, his mates might not be retired by then, don't forget. So what's he going to do with his time? And does that come with a cost? So I'd be really thinking about what does it mean to live a luxurious lifestyle to him?
Do you have the other average figures for the other ages? Sorry to put you on the spot, but
how much you have in a pension?
Yeah,
at different age?
I want us to just caveat this. Average means lots of people have more, lots of people have less. So don't feel like a failure if you're either side.
I felt like a failure. She said like average 30-year-old has what, 15k?
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't have 15k, but
no, but you can, and like the good thing is you can catch up quick.
Yeah,
yeah,
You know,
that's
like,
the good thing because you earn more as you get older.
the average person is not engaged with their pension. 90% of people don't even log on. So you can lap people in a couple of years if you just get switched into it, you know, and maximise it the way Lisa's saying. But yeah.
Well, so 40s for a man is 34,000, 28 for a woman. And 50s is 66,039 for a woman.
Come on, ladies. Let's make 2026 the year that we beat the men.
Or the men, maybe it's time to help remind the woman, pay into their pension for them if they're taking time off.
Or pay it, yeah.
Yeah, it's usually the time off that that makes a big difference.
Yeah, and you said it before that it's not efficient to build a lopsided kind of asset base in retirement where the man's got £1 million and the woman has nothing.
Yes.
It's beneficial for the man to be like, let's spread it between the two of us and we can save lots of money that way.
There's a question coming up with a great tax trick, so I'll cover that there when there's a discrepancy in savings.
You pay into your partners.
I was about to say for, I think it was her birthday. Was her birthday or either
Happy
birthday or Valentine's?
birthday.
No, not my birthday. On her birthday or
No one
Valentine's
says that
Day.
his birthday present. Is that her birthday present? Pension payment.
I contributed
Thank you for cleaning up the house, looking after me, wiping my ass, raising my child. You can have £1,000 in a lice, and I'm going to take half an hour and buy the house.
I gave her a LISA and a pension contribution on.
So romantic.
I think it was her birthday. I'm pretty sure it's her birthday.
You doesn't even know what day it was.
It's been a long year, man. Last year was a long year.
Yeah.
I've got a selfish question.
Yes.
Is this different for us self-employed people? Like, is there a different strategy in saving for your retirement?
Well,
we don't get.
the first is to save. So only 20% of self-employed save into a pension.
Yes, I'm finally in the right side of the
And that's
statistics.
got a lot worse in recent times. There's way more self-employed, but the rate of saving has collapsed.
20%.
Only 20% paying.
Put anything into that.
Including people with big, like, good businesses. They're not just a lot of people who are self-employed don't earn much money, but they look at people that are high earners and even they don't. I think it's a psychology thing.
There's always a reason to invest in your business and think, and so many business owners think, well, my business is my pension. And the answer to that question is your business is your pension if things go well, if someone buys it from you, if there is a market for your business by the time that you come to retire.
If you're not the business.
Yes.
You know,
exactly.
if it's like, you know, Frank's coffee shop, you know, Dave might not be able to run it like you.
Yes, exactly. So definitely start a pension. And I know that feeling, especially in my 20s, as someone who was self-employed at that time. I didn't put as much into my pension as I should have done, but I got over it by just starting a direct debit for any amount, and then you get used to it. And then each January, make it painful. Like,
make it more.
Can you double it? Maybe you can't. Can you add another 10%? Can you add 50%? Because if you try and it's still a bit too expensive, you can always change it down. But also say to your accountant, like, I love building people's financial plans when they run their own business, because I can say to them, right, you need £30,000 a year for your future you. And then they can go with that number to their accountant and say, what do we need to change in the business so that we can afford to be doing £30,000, for example, into my company pension. employer pension. And I think, self-employed people can be a dream to write a financial plan for when they're genuinely getting their business to work for them.
Yeah, they're optimists as well, aren't they? Because they set up a business, so they often probably think, oh, if I take this and put it into the business, I can make 10 times more. But, the business exists to serve you.
Yes.
So it should invest in you.
Well, you're an employer in the business, but you're also an employee. And I think you have to take a step back and think, with me as an employee, what do I deserve?
You deserve a pension.
You deserve a pension, you deserve some income protection, and you deserve a steady income so that you can be sane.
Yeah. Yeah,
so those got to be the goals, to tick those off gradually as you build the business.
I need to pay into my pension now.
You need to pay into my pension, mate. I start, I'm a late bloomer.
Before April. Because it's kind of like, I'll do it near this thing and that thing. And, and I'm like switched on with my finances. But now it's January and I'm like, oh God, there's 3 or 4 months. And if I want to maximize that opportunity, I got to find a lot of money quickly to fill that up. Whereas if I'd have just set up a direct debit, it would have happened.
The way that works well is you put a direct debit on a monthly basis that's meaningful, slightly painful, and then you just do a quarterly check-in. Check on your Xero or with your accountant and say, can I afford an extra 1,000, 5,000, 10,000? And just always be testing the budget, the edges of your comfort zone. And it's great. It saves corporation tax if you're a limited company. If you're a sole trader, you can use your pension to alter your tax bracket at the end of the year. So
it also gets the money into your name without paying the kind of income taxes, the dividend stuff related today. Yes. It's kind of like a back door, isn't it, into your own personal name.
And we know dividends tax is going up by 2% in next tax year. So going to make pensions even more appealing. Yeah.
But again, finance guy, and I put it off to the point of, oh no, there's this thing I want to buy or that thing I want to buy. And now if I want to stick, because I don't really prioritize my ISA, because it doesn't make much sense for me to rip money out of my business to be taxed at 40% plus corporation tax to put it in an ISA. So I invested in through like a holding company kind of structure, but then the pension is the most sensible thing to do. But now I should just max the pension at 60k a year because I'm not doing any of the ISA stuff. But now it's like I've got 3 months left of the year and I've got to find 60k.
I'd love to do the maths one day, and this could be a whole episode for you. But let's say you're paying 50% to get the money out of your company to pay into an ISA. Everyone says, oh, don't do that, just keep it in the company. But what if you did have a 50% reduction in the value of what you could invest? How many years does it take for you to get 100% return on your investment? Because let's say it takes you 10 years, 15 years. After that, you're still then building up this really beautiful tax-free savings pot.
We could do that.
To be continued.
Yeah. I'd love that. We will chat. So T, tell me the riskiest thing you've ever done.
Mate, the cameras are rolling. I can't do that. You're trying to get me cancelled. I mean, most of my risky things were probably in my teenage years. But one thing I could say about finance risks, definitely invested in stocks with zero research just because my friend told me to. His research was trust me. It didn't go well.
Wow. So clearly risk affects you in both your personal and business life. And that's why we're really happy today to be partnering with Vanta. They automate a lot of risk processes and help you see the risks in a centralized platform so you know what really needs your attention.
Besides risk, the main thing Vanta does is automate compliance with security protocols that you need if you want to do business with larger companies or grow internationally. This is stuff like GDPR, HIPAA, ISO 27001, and SOC 2.
The beauty of Vanta is they make it easy to prove you're compliant with these standards, saving up to 90% of the time it takes, and on average, $500,000. You can get started at vanta.com/making money. There's a link in the description and a QR code on screen for you.
Do you think 25-year-olds today should be expecting to have a state pension?
I would say not. I worry.
Say no.
Yeah, I'm in my mid-40s, and I reckon by the time I get there, it might not be how we see it today.
But it'll still be there.
I think it'll morph into a long-term care thing. I think they'll keep bumping up the age to a point where basically it kicks in at like 70 odd, and it's just like a lower floor of earning for people. So it kind of covers the care.
Tested.
Yeah, maybe means tested. I mean, if you look at Australia, they mean test theirs. because they've got the superannuation. I think, there's not many state pension schemes in the world that pay everybody a flat amount like ours in the way that we do.
So what would 25-year-olds get as compensation for paying national insurance for like their whole lives if they don't have a state pension? Like what could the alternative, like I need something, I've given you loads of money, like can I get something back?
I think you have to plan as if you're not getting it. And then if you do, it's extra holidays, it's extra fun or extra money to gift. So I think, it's better to be cautious and assume not.
I don't think that they'll get rid of it because I think politically it's
so
damaging. But I do think that it might shift to a point where it's like, I can't, if you wait until 75 to get it, do you want to work until 75? No, you want to, you might go, well, it's just going to cover my care costs basically, or it's going to help pay for me to sit at home. I think it might be dragged to a point where life is basically done in the sense of going and seeing the world and doing the things you want to do. So you want to plan ahead of that. But I mean,
it's a bit depressing.
It's a little bit depressing, especially for 25-year-olds.
When I do someone's model and they're my age or younger, we sort of make a compromise and assume it's 50%. That's what we would put into someone's plan.
Because it's such a lot of money. It's worth about, say, 300 grand, isn't it, in terms of assets?
Yeah.
So, and if you're a couple, you're basically saying we're just going to ignore £600,000 worth of benefit. So it's a lot to just leave that off the table. And if we had certainty, it would make financial planning a lot easier for us. A lot cheaper as well.
Yeah.
Because it's sad in a way as well. If I get to retirement age and I've planned like I'm not going to get a state pension, I've saved essentially an extra 500 grand to accommodate for that. And then it's there. And I'm like, well, I could have gone on an extra holiday every year.
But you could then retire earlier because as you get closer to your date, you're going to have more certainty about the rules, aren't you? So if you plan in your 30s, 40s, as if it's not going to be there or in its entirety, and then as you get closer, if it's there, then you just pull your retirement earlier.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks.
Andrea.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that says
Andrea. That says Andrea.
Andrea.
Andrea. Andrea.
What do you think?
Well, I knew
Andrea.
All
right, guys.
Oh, now I don't know the difference between what I'm saying. It's a nice
Andrea.
Name. It is a lovely name, but
or Andrea has already actually spoken to you.
Ooh.
Maybe you should know because she might be one of your clients. But she found it so useful that she wanted to share this with us. She wrote, I had an hour's worth of advice from Lisa, which was really helpful, and she spotted that my husband's pension value was low and it would be worthwhile paying into it, even though he was not able to work at the time. The process in practice meant that he could claim a tax rebate from HMRC, and it helped to even up the difference in our pension values. It also means being able to use his income tax-free allowance in the future if drawing on his pension. So, Lisa, how do the rules around this work?
So what was going on here is this lady's doing well with her pension. Husband is a low earner or no earner. It can work for that as well. And it's really important for you to be paying into a pension for the lower earner in the household. So this is the tax trick I was mentioning earlier. So let's say I'm earning less than 12,570. So I pay no tax on what I earn. But the way there's a little quirk of the pension rules is that if I pay an £80, automatically, without having to do anything, the government's going to give me £20 back and the pension company's going to claim that for me. So let's say I'm earning £10,000 a year. I keep all that £10,000. If I were to pay that £10,000 straight into my pension, the government's going to increase that to £12,500. So you get free money for nothing. So it's a really good quirk for lower earners.
My partner's not working currently.
So
can I do that?
If she's not working, so the pension rules are you can pay in 100% of your earnings up to a maximum of £60,000 a year. If you've got no earnings, that rule makes it sound like you can't pay anything into a pension. So there's an exception. So if you earn nothing, you can pay £3,600 a year gross. So that's £300 a month. The total going in between you and the employer, you and the government, £300 a month. 80% you put in, 20% the government.
It's the same with the kids one, isn't it? It's the same rule.
Exactly, same rule.
Pension, yeah.
So in this instance, the husband could pay in, if he's not earning, or your partner, £240 a month, and the government's going to put in 60 for free.
Wow.
So you could do that for your partner and
my son.
and for your son and get that tax back.
This is why I like financial advisors these days. Back in the day, I didn't realize how much knowledge you guys had. This is amazing. Thank you.
Yeah. So in this instance, it's a way to boost his pension without paying any tax, but getting tax relief. But also, say that they're the same age and they're going to retire at 60. She's got loads in a pension, he hasn't got any. He can then go hard spending that pension between now and age 67 when his state pension kicks in. So he can then draw out that pension and keep him below in the nil rate up to 12,570 a year out and pay no tax on the way out as well. He has to do it before state pension age because then the state pension is going to eat his personal allowance. But it's a way to build up money very, very tax efficiently and then spend it tax efficiently, i.e. it's at zero before state pension. So
Brilliant.
And do the government put in the money every month? Or
whenever you put in,
whatever
you put in,
like a LISA?
yes,
They just
claim
top
it
it
for
up.
you.
Most platforms, like it's an auto top up or it'll show instantly. Like on Vanguard, it just shows instantly. But
Yeah, say with like LISA.
but when you're a higher rate, they put the 20%, you go claim the rest through like a self-assessment or whatever. But typically you'll get the 20%. Yeah.
Awesome.
So that's how it works. Was there any other part to that question?
I don't think so. No, I think it was more just praise to you. And can you explain how that works so other people can benefit?
Amazing.
I can see that you answered everything else. We put follow-ups of, who's it most suitable for? What if it's a partner, stay at home, kids? What if you earn less than 12K? You answered all that?
All.
Yes, smashed
good.
it.
Yeah. Ryan wrote in this question. Do you use any methods to help you stop worrying about money? My financial future is looking very bright, but I still sit there most days worrying about it. Looking over spreadsheets and checking my investments. Maybe Damo can relate. I literally thought it's this Damo writing in like with a different name.
Damo can relate.
Damo is Ryan.
Yeah. And it's got worse in a way. No, it hasn't got worse, but I find peace in it. Like I find peace in the checking the numbers in the spreadsheets and updating them. It's like a hobby. Yeah. It's like one of my favourite things to do. I don't know.
I don't
know. And like the numbers getting bigger doesn't make me feel like, it's all better. Yeah. It doesn't. It's better than looking at it in the negative. But yeah.
So funny because I don't even look at my Damo drops in a bit for my son every month for his
I invested.
junior ISA.
I put it in his junior.
Yeah, and I put it in as well. But then I get an email every couple of months from Hargreaves Lansdowne, you need to put the cash into the actual ISA. Just stop leaving it in the account. So
you need to invest.
You need to invest it.
Yeah,
you
don't just have it sat in cash.
Yeah, I know, but because I don't unlike you, I don't check it every day. So
you just set automatic buys. I bet you.
Automatic.
I don't check.
Hargreaves Lansdowne. I don't know if they. Sorry, mate.
I don't check it my son's one all the time, but I got a spreadsheet like a net worth tracker for me, and I know that to the penny.
Yeah, see, I don't have time for that. I just send the money in there and I look at it once a year.
I kind of like it though as well that as you get older, you can be like, oh my god, I earned what I earned in a year on my first job,
by growth.
Yeah, by growth. Oh god, I just lost a whole year's income at 25, and you kind of, I don't know. But like
it doesn't reassure you.
I mean, it reassures me in a point. I tell you what does reassure me: taking the number that I have today and just applying a 5% growth and going, oh, I'm basically there. I'm okay in that sense. But then the mind goes, yeah, but if I put a few more in, then I can be doing like this and this and this. I'm at the point now where if I didn't save anything, I could retire at a normal age with a normal retirement. But then you suddenly start to look at Shady Oaks brochures and be like, whoa, I want this place. Do you know what I mean? I think it's like you say, the mind never stops. I don't think there's a level where you go, that's enough.
Really?
I mean,
do you hear this a lot? Because I'm literally the opposite. I'm just it'll be fine. I'll just make a little more money and put more money in next year. And I'll just put more money. Oh, I just got a raise. I can put more money in next year. And I just don't worry about it. I'm as I'm getting a raise every year and as things are growing in life, I'm it'll be fine. But I'm definitely not in a position where I'm if I extrapolate it from today, I could retire. But I don't worry about it because I'm it will be fine.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not talking about balling out my brain, but I've got enough now that it could compound away. But I put more in now than I ever have.
Yeah.
So I think there's two things for Ryan that stick out to me. It doesn't sound like it's making him happy. And
He seems
what's
pretty
the point of it if it's not making you happy? So
Yeah.
he's got to put in some automatic habits that keep him sane. So I think he's got to know his number. So what is the number he's got to save every year to achieve his goals? And as long as he does that, he needs to just ease off himself. And then he's got to say, well, what are the things I enjoy now? And allocate money on purpose to those things that he enjoys. And honestly, the sad thing about being a financial advisor is you know people so well and then they bloody die. In 2025, we had 2 clients die too young. And so I would hate for him to have squirreled away all this money and not have had any fun, because that could be him. I hope it's not, Ryan, of course, but you've got to get that balance, because what's the point of having too much if life takes a different course? So he's got to find the balance, and whichever way keeps him sane. More often than not, when I sit down with these extreme worriers, they have too much cash, way too much cash. Like I had at the end of 2025, a lady come in for a financial diagnosis session. We sat down. She's petrified about not retiring well. When we did the numbers, so you're in your 40s and you're there, like, chill out. There are lots of ways we can improve her plan and make her more streamlined, but her job in her financial plan is to actually go and enjoy her 40s. Because she spent too much of her 20s and 30s and early 40s not doing the things that she loves. And the benefit of that is she's got a nice pot, but she had too much in cash, not focusing enough on pensions, and a really weird ISA that was taking far too much risk but not returning enough. So there's things we could do, but it was such a sort of sigh of relief for her to know that the pressure's off. And they can get really emotional for that reason. You're being so...
You're giving them their life back, years of their life back.
Yeah, it's permission to spend.
Yeah.
So Ryan, I don't know how old he is. Does he say?
No.
Don't tell me he's in his 20s,
No,
please.
I hope not. I mean, all these 20-year-olds making me look bad. Yeah, no, he doesn't.
But Ryan he needs to know his number, and then he needs to create a to-do list now of how he's going to enjoy his money and spend it. And yeah.
I remember you've spoke about clients in the past. I remember you having one client that got like big bonuses, quite young. I think it was a lady who worked in IT and stuff like this. You know, you don't share details of the clients, but you mentioned, and obviously being a financial advisor in London tends to mean you deal with people with a lot more money.
Yeah.
Do you find that people are genuinely happy about their finances or stressed about them with the people that you deal with?
When you've got a plan and we're keeping it on track, I think that what's the word? Like, outsources the worry.
Yeah.
So that helps the average person that we look after, because I think they would be natural worriers or natural planners, let's put it that way. So I think outsourcing the problem does help, and having permission to spend does really help, or permission to gift does really help. But yeah, I think most people on very high salaries can feel a bit tense, because like, well, what if this salary goes away? And I think that's what worries them on the whole. So having some different scenario planning. So what if it does go away? What if you did only earn, I know this is a high salary, but if you did only earn £50,000 now for the rest of your career, what happens? Or if you're earning the big bucks, maybe you're addicted to that money and you don't realise it, and you actually don't need it. That often happens. They say, well, why don't we focus on you doing a different job that makes you happy from, say, 45? So they've got this timeline where it's like, well, I'm going to do this job that I'm starting to hate, but I love the money, for only another 5 years. And then I think having that end date really helps to then go and do a passion project or work for a charity or do whatever feels like your heart's desire rather than your head's desire.
And then because they've got that clarity, they can kind of hammer the money away and not just get to the end of the 5 years and go, I blew all the money trying to make myself happy because I worked a job that I was miserable in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need some of this. Honestly, we should do one. Because I'd be interested to see if you think I could spend more. Because I feel like I spend a lot.
You know that you can, in the way that you even worrying about it. You've answered your own question.
More,
you said you've got enough to live a nice retirement if it just compounds. So the answer is yes.
The challenge for me though is like, can I get it so that I could be financially independent now? You know, that's kind of what I strive for. And I don't know if that's a good
is
goal
that
or not.
important?
I don't know. I think like the one worry I have is what you said about your clients. It's like, what if all this goes away? So I've kind of got to save as much as I can so that if it all goes away, I'm all right. Because it just feels like you're a footballer.
If it all goes away, you get a job.
Yeah. I don't know if in my head that would feel like a failure. I don't know. Do you know what I mean?
might feel like you were going backwards because you quit your job to do YouTube.
Yeah.
So then if it went away, then you went back to your job, you're like, oh, I did it. I set up myself. I did what I wanted, and now I've got to go back.
And it wouldn't feel like progress.
Yeah.
It would feel like a step backwards. But maybe there are jobs that I think I would probably really enjoy and stuff. But yeah, there's that kind of.
But maybe having the freedom to make that choice is the liberating bit. Like, what is it that I need to save every single year? And what is it that I need to spend every year? Add those two numbers together, and that's what you need to earn.
Yeah. I think I sometimes I put this pressure on myself of if this doesn't be the thing that changes my life completely, then it is a failure. Whereas actually, I could just look at it and go, that was a success. If it ended today, dead, it was a success. You know, helped a lot of people, did a lot of cool things. But yeah, you kind of have this pressure of, if I have to go back and get a job, I've somehow messed up. Yeah. Which I don't know if that's even the case.
No.
And I do worry about being the richest person in the graveyard, because I think there's a high chance that I will be that person.
You've got to learn to spend.
Yeah. And I do spend, I look at all the money going out, and I'm like, where's it all going?
Yeah, but there are some habits that, like, I mean, we'll be like out, and then he'll be like, oh yeah, let's just go to like here. And I'm like, he's like, oh, it's a 25-minute walk. I'm like, mate, let's just get an Uber. He's like, oh, no, let's just walk it. So I'm like, there are times where you could just, give yourself a bit more comfort. And like, I feel like you're still frugal. Not as frugal as you were, but I think you're still like a little bit.
Yeah.
Like scared it's all going to go away. It's the best way to.
Yeah, the things that I won't spend on are like a house for myself, because I would look at it and go, well, the stamp duty is going to be outrageous. I could just buy assets with that, and then that'll produce income. You know what I mean? Like a house that I think most people in my position would be like, I'm going to buy a dream house. Not dream. I'm not talking like million.
Forever house.
Yeah, not with swim pools, but I see people around me that earn less money than I do, and they ratchet through the housing gears really quickly, and they straddle themselves with lots of mortgage debt. And I'd like, my mates like, oh, the stamp duty was like 20 grand. And I'm like, bloody hell, like, no thanks. You know what I mean? So I probably, and I drive a car that's like a 17 plate A class full of dents. I know that other people around me would be like, I'm going to buy myself a nice car. And I do look at nice cars and I think, oh, I would like a nice car. But then I look at the cost, I'm like, no, I'll just buy assets. And I never switch the other way. Anything that could be considered kind of like, basically like clothes, meals,
anything
friends,
luxurious.
holidays, I'll buy that.
Yeah.
But anything that's like a house or a car, I find it really hard to kind of upgrade my current situation, even though I could afford it.
I think it's got to be, maybe it sounds like you need the plan to be wealthy. Like, what's the reason why to do it?
Yeah, I think for me, like...
And maybe you're allowed a frivolous reason why.
Yeah.
I think that's really important, happiness and like what you're satisfied with, not impressing others. Like when I got my new car, I told you, I was like, oh, I'm going to buy this one. I'll get it on finance. It was like a 25 grand Mercedes. I'll just pay it every month. And I'm like, why am I doing this? I can buy a secondhand car for like 8 grand and be happy. And I don't need to buy like this new 20 whatever plate. Like it's not necessary. So I think happiness is really important and like what you need, and not trying to do it for other people.
Yeah. And I look around me at the people around me, some of them, and I know that they're much younger than me. They probably earn less money than me. And then I look and I'm like, you've got a nice house and a nicer car than me. Like, what is going on there? Yeah. How is that?
Debt.
Yeah. How is that even a thing? Yeah. And like you say, they're just up to their eyeballs. Yeah. Yeah, sure. Well, thanks for the therapy. We've got time for a couple more questions.
Ian is looking at early retirement and trying to figure out how to draw on his assets to minimize tax. He says, I have a DB and DC pensions, GIA, SIP, share ISA, and some cash. It's a minefield to know what to draw from and in what sequence. Sorry, what's a GIA?
General investment account, taxable brokerage account. So if you filled your stocks and shares ISA, you have to use the taxable one, right? He's a dream for you, right?
Yeah,
because he's got everything.
Ian.
Yeah, this is Ian.
So I love Ian because whatever way the government turns, he's got an option. If they put up income tax, he can take his stuff that's tax-free or capital gains taxable. If they put capital gains tax up, he can switch to income. So he's got so much flexibility in this plan. Now, he says he wants to retire early. So this is me just filling in the gaps. But the things I'd want to know is, well, what age does his DB pension scheme pay out from naturally? It's called an NRA normal retirement age or NRD normal retirement date. So let's say that's 65. And this is a real general rule of thumb. And I know you've got a very good DB pension episode because I actually watched it the other week. So that was brilliant. But let's say his normal retirement date is 65. If he took that 60, 5 years early, he's going to get some penalty because his employer is going to say, well, you're going to then need the pension for longer, so we're going to give you less every year. And roughly, he might expect a 25% discount. So the question he needs to know by speaking to a DB expert is he better taking the final salary pension, the DB pension, from 65 as normal and spending his other assets before? Or is he better taking that pension earlier? I feel it's probably waiting till the normal retirement date. But that's what I'd like to know. Things to consider would be if he takes a higher amount later, it's going to have a bigger spousal pension probably. So if he's married and his spouse hasn't got much in a pension, that's got to be factored in. But yeah, I would start by that part because then we know when the DB kicks in. And then I would just do what we would do with every client is year by year, looking at the tax rules, slice off. So let's assume in the early years, he's not taking the DB pension. We're going to take 12.5 grand out of his taxable part of his pension. That's going to fall in his nil rate band. So he's not going to pay any tax. And then I'm just going to stack on top of that his assets in the most tax efficient manner. And from next tax year, when pensions from 2027, when pensions become inheritance taxable, I'm not going to be really worried about spending hard down on his pensions later on. But yeah, I think that's the main crux is what's the situation if he's got one, and what's the outcome of this DB pot, and then it's beautiful, just spending down the pot gradually.
Another reason for me to potentially just suck up the tax today is that I know that rule today. I don't know what the rules are going to be in the future, and I might value that flexibility. It's like, build up the ISA because it just adds that element of flexibility.
Yeah, we'll do the maths.
Yeah, please. Number 7.
Tom asked about where to save if you're maximizing your contribution match in your workplace pension. He says, a big question for me is the split between long-term ISA investment and my pension contributions. I know that pensions get tax relief and match, and I'm contributing enough to maximize the match. Mm-hmm. Beyond that point, should I put more into my pension or save more into an ISA? I'm especially concerned with the rising retirement age for private pensions.
Okay. So it's got to be about the balance. So firstly, he's getting the maximum from his employer, which we love. Next question is, can he pay in to a pension and change his tax bracket? And if so, how much? So if he's earning 60,000 in that previous example, we pay another 10, he's going back into the basic rate. It's really important for those people earning between 100 and 125, especially to get out that 60% tax bracket if they can. So I think it's about manipulating the tax bracket and then doing the ISA as well. And if it's a long-term ISA, thinking about his investment strategy inside it, and the ISA is going to be his backup if the government changes the rules on pensions to make it later.
All right. Gino has asked, with the proposed...
Smashing my knee up.
Move your leg over there,
I've been told to move closer to you. For some reason, I don't want to do it. You've got this metal thing here, just slams me in the knee. It's ruthless.
I love it.
I'll just box your chair out.
No, please don't. Oh, you sunk me again. It's so hard to get up. Not like that. I give up. Okay. Gino has asked, this is crazy. No, okay, got it. Okay, Gino. Don't. Gino has asked, with the proposed changes coming up regarding pensions being included in inheritance tax,
yes,
what actions could be taken to minimize the huge impact on some people, i.e. me?
With a shocked emoji face.
Yeah, I love it. He said, for example, if I died after the 6th of April 2027, my adult children would have a naught added to their current inheritance tax bill than if I died prior to April 2027.
So it sounds like he's got other assets if there's already an inheritance tax bill already. So it's about spending it sensibly first. So ordinarily you wouldn't spend your pension first, you'd spend other assets because you could pass on your pension without inheritance tax. But now when the rules are changing, you're just going to reverse. So pension's going to become the priority, and spend that first and spend other assets or gift the other assets during your lifetime.
Okay. Yeah, gift, like you say. I know that when they changed the rules in Australia around inheritance, but it got more favourable to stay, like they changed them so they were less bad. Less people died before the change. They saw a drop in the death rate. So either the families lied about when they died to cross the boundary, or people literally hung on for an extra amount of time.
That's wild.
Yeah, because it was the same kind of situation, but if you died after the date, there was no inheritance tax because they're getting rid of it.
Nice. Lewis asks.
Is that Louis?
Oh, yeah, don't start this again. Louis. Luis.
L-U-I-S. Lewis.
Lewis, yeah. Lewis.
I would have that as L-E-W-I-S.
Yeah, right.
I think this guy's Portuguese. L-U-I-S, like that.
Louis?
Louis is L-U-I, but...
Anyway.
L-U-I-S. Louis...
Isn't that like Lee?
Louis or Lewis or Lou, stop making me short. For higher earners who have already maximised their ISA and pension allowances, what other tax-efficient options are available for saving and investing?
So what have they maximised? Pension and ISA?
Pension and
Yeah.
ISA.
Then on the whole, you would start, have you done it for both people if you're in a relationship, firstly? And then secondly, I would start building up a general investment account. So you're using your capital gains tax allowance every year, which isn't great, but it's only $3,000. And then it goes on to areas of quite complex financial planning then, whether you consider an onshore or an offshore bond, for example. But that's quite specialist advice.
Also, as well, ask the question of, if I'm tucking away 80k a year, am I doing enough? Maybe, because it's quite a lot of money, isn't it?
Yeah,
80k.
exactly. And it might be 160 in a relationship.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. And if you've got lots of time and you're doing that every year, you're going to have loads of money.
Yeah.
Okay, next question.
Shay, as a parent of a toddler, I'm constantly wondering how to teach her as early as I can about saving and the benefits, how to spend wisely and all these things. What do you think are some of the first financial principles we could be teaching our kids? This is also for me because I also have a toddler.
I really want to know because I don't want to get it wrong. But what I do for my kids, so it might not be the right thing. I think when I was little, I started to teach the difference between want and need. So I would buy them things that they need, and their pocket money is for things that they want. So I do that. And then since they were about 7, my kids get £4 a week pocket money. And they can spend that on whatever it's they want to spend. They don't have to ask permission, obviously, as long as it's age appropriate. But yeah, I don't say they can't do anything with that money. Even my son seems to just spend it on gaming stuff constantly.
Robux, V-Bucks.
But without even mentioning it really, they set up automatically. So £1 a week goes into the Go Henry savings account, £3 comes to them. And then each of them now have built up definitely more than £100 floating amount in their savings account, in their regular account, and they start filtering off money into premium bonds. So I feel like if you're teaching them just gradually over time, I mean, they probably hear me talking about money far too much, but just mentioning what these things are and how you should at least do 25% of what you earn or get away, then I think it's just creating really good habits. And then in the premium bonds, I fake to win. Does that make me a really bad parent?
Get them hooked, get a taste of the win early.
Yeah, because they only had £50 each in the premium bond, and I faked a £50 win to get them feeling good, because they weren't winning, and I didn't want them to lose hope in getting a win. So yeah, fake a win.
Fake a win. I like it.
That's great. No, that's great. One thing I did with my son is like take him to a supermarket, say, what do you want for dinner? He's like, spaghetti bolognese. So, okay, here's £10. You've got to buy the ingredients with me. And then they can see the trade-offs that you make in terms of ingredients and quality. And it kind of just teaches them that, this pasta versus this pasta is a big difference. And then, like, the quality of certain ingredients over others. Tin tomatoes, it's like, probably just get the cheap ones, mate. But for the meat, you might want the nice one or whatever. And I think that just kind of gives them that trade-off that adults need to make, that it's not like you can just buy the most expensive thing all the time. Yeah. But yeah, I think most parents are clueless. There's not really that much good quality education on how this is what you need to teach kids.
Yeah, I think the thing that I struggle with, I do scribble away money for them, but I'll say.
What's up, dog?
The bit that I struggle with, I think, is because I do scribble away money for them, I don't want them to be going around like they think they're loaded. So I don't know where that balance is between them understanding what they have. I mean, they've only got a few thousands between them. It's not like they've got millions, but I don't want them to think, I don't know how to manage that with them, I suppose. I'd love to know.
All the coins in our house for my 3-year-old and then put it in this little piggy bank. And then every couple of months we go to the supermarket, empty it in this machine, and he gets to pour the coins into the machine. Then it gives you a receipt.
The Coinstar
and then,
thing.
the Coinstar thing. And then we get the receipt and then we take it to the till. They give us the cash. I'm like, this is all your money. And then we go put it in the ISA. So the ISA part, he's not really understanding. But the other bits.
Some NatWest banks have a free machine that counts it. I don't know if it's got, because I think the
supermarkets charge a little bit. Coinstar charge a little bit.
I think Metro do as well.
Metro,
yeah. I think that's a nice game.
Because the supermarket we do, it's like a game. So goes around a little spiral. So he loves it. But need to go somewhere it's free. It's not taking that much, but still.
Unfortunately, I've got to go to a meeting now in 5 minutes that I can't miss.
Thank you for coming back,
My
Lisa.
pleasure.
Again, come back soon. Our favourite FA. Sorry to the other financial advisors.
Yeah, they don't get the Lisa spot.
You're not having that.
Annual slot. But no, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Just had a chat with Lisa Conway-Hughes, Making Money podcast Hall of Famer. What did you think?
I love that. Yeah, no, she's great, isn't she? She's got a real nice way of just making it all sound like, chill, but still detailed and like she knows what she's on about. I think she's one of the financial advisors that changed our opinion on financial advisors.
100%. If you want to chat to Lisa, we'll leave her details in the link below so you can have a little chat about your finances.
I'm going to be chatting about mine. Getting that therapy.
Yeah, you need that therapy.
I need that therapy. Permission to spend. Excuse me, I'm just exercising my permission to spend. If my missus has a go at me. What's this Ferrari on the drive?
I was told that
I've been given permission to spend.